All right, everyone, welcome to our live stream. This is Luciano with Korg here today with a very special keyboard. This is the VOX Continental. I'm going to be working with the 61 key version today. Hope everyone's doing well, and we're going to start with some music. So let's enjoy. Get some of that bass in there. All right, so welcome to our live stream, everyone. Once again, my name is Luciano Minetti, and we are excited to be here today with the VOX Continental, a very special instrument. And I'm actually very excited to demo it because it's a blast to play. It's really easy to use, and it looks great. So a really good combination for any musician. So just to give you a little rundown of what we are going to cover today, I want to start telling you a little bit about what is the VOX Continental, a little bit about the history between Korg and Vox, and then we're going to get into the sounds and how to use this really nice control panel, and we'll do some really cool demos as well for you, and then we're going to talk about what the 2.0 update does for you with this keyboard. So if any of you already own the Continental and you haven't yet updated, we'll give you a lot of good reasons why you should definitely update. And as you can see, please feel free to ask any questions throughout the stream. We have Eric from our product support team who knows so much, and he is on the stream with us today answering all of your questions, okay? So without further ado, let's get started. So first place, what is the relationship between Korg and Vox? So some of you may know this, but Korg actually owns Vox. So we put this keyboard out in partnership under the Vox name, but it is designed by Korg, which is really awesome. And it pays homage and really bows to an iconic instrument from the 60s, and that is the original VOX Continental. Now, that product was a go-to stage instrument for the time, and it had, it was welcomed on every stage and was used in a lot of music back then. So just as it was an iconic instrument of that time, what this is meant to be is a modern stage instrument that acknowledges that that was also a really amazing instrument back in the 60s, but has totally modern features and is really a very powerful current day performing instrument. So sometimes when we do these kind of nods to previous products like the MS-20 Mini, for example, we'll recreate those products, but this is a departure and it kind of takes on a whole new modern interface and power, which we're going to talk about today. So a little bit about what this keyboard has under the hood, because it is very powerful. It borrows some engines from our Kronos keyboard, which is our flagship workstation, which is very powerful. And it has the CX3 organ engine. It has the EP1 for some really great electric piano sounds. And it has the SGX2, which gives you some really awesome piano samples, acoustic piano samples, which we're going to play today. Now, as far as size and configuration go, the one I'm going to be working with today is the 61 key variant, and it comes with these really nice waterfall keys. Now, if you like playing organ, it feels really, really, really good. So 61 key I'm working with today also comes in a 73 key variant, okay? So depending on what you're using it for, live performance, if you want to play a little bit more piano, I think 73 is nice to give you a little bit extra range, but this is a really nice size as well for portability. All right, so let's dive in and start talking about how to work this keyboard. Now, I started off with the music today because I figured that we can kind of work from that space and talk about how to make the most out of this keyboard when you're performing live, which is what it's really great for. So we're going to start with these control surfaces here. Now, similar to our SV2 and Grand Stage that have lots of knobs and things to really adjust on the fly, the Continental does this amazing because it has pretty much everything you want right in front of you without having to go in and menu dive. So starting on the left, you can see we have our volume knob up top. We have our valve drive button here, okay, with a little knob. Now, another great feature about this instrument is that it features our new tube bass technology, which is going to give you that real grit and warmth. It's also found in our Volca new bass as well, so pretty cool. And when you turn on this button here, valve drive, you can see it lights up, which is pretty cool. And as I increase the intensity of the valve drive, it actually lights up brighter, which is pretty fun to watch. Now, we have my organ sound called up here. Now let's just listen to what happens. Now that I've turned on valve drive, we'll go ahead and increase it. You can hear that that grit really comes through very, very nicely with this sound. So that's pretty cool. A dynamics button, which we're going to talk about in a little while. Now, we'll start with the organ category since we are playing an organ now. So this has really great organ sounds. And the first thing you want to notice is that on the Continental, it gives you 3 subcategories of organ sounds that you might want to go through. The one I'm in right now is the CX3, okay? So that's going to give you those really nice traditional Hammond organ sounds with that rotary speaker. Sounds really cool. I also have the VOX category, which will give me the sounds from the original VOX Continental from the 60s, which is pretty awesome. And you can hear like... That's pretty awesome. And compact is another category to give you a different variety of organ sounds. So we're going to go through some of these variations, but we'll go back to the CX3 category. Now, part of what makes this panel really nice to navigate is that depending on which category you're in, all you have to do is tap the variation button to go through some really nice configured presets for these organ sounds. So the one I was on was 11, but let's start from the beginning. Let's see what organ number 1 sounds like. So just going through some of the other ones, we'll hear what we have. So those are really rich sounds. And again, each of these categories will give you a certain amount of preset configurations. Now you can see in this organ category, the CX3 category, I have 19 different possible combinations. Now, just turning our attention, you'll notice as I was cycling through the sounds under this organ category, these lights were changing color. And these are going to be my drawbars for the organ. Now, what I think makes these drawbars really convenient is that depending on what preset I'm in, they will automatically light up to wherever the drawbars are situated for that sound. Now, on the gig, I think it's very practical because, for example, if you're using an organ with real drawbars or keyboard with real drawbars, when you do change the sound, the physical drawbars will not move. But it's nice to be able to look down and see exactly where these are going to be situated for each sound. And it's as easy as going ahead and just tapping your finger to go ahead and increase and add different parts of the sound. So let's listen. So a very nice visual there. And again, look, you could even swipe your finger across, which I think is kind of fun if you wanted to extend or, see, that's with them all down. You can go ahead here and add them down. So very easy to go ahead and use those drawbars right there. Now, a couple other things, you could turn on and off percussion, which is nice for, I'm sure, a lot of really great organ players out there. You guys appreciate these features. And the rotary speaker, which I was using in the first demo, but the rotary speaker can be triggered here with this stick here, this pitch bend, but it also serves as a way to trigger the rotary speaker. So going up, we'll turn it on. So, and flicking it down will turn the rotary speaker off. So that sounds really cool. Now, there are other ways that you can obviously control that. There is a pedal or an input for a pedal in the back of this keyboard. It says rotor speed, so you can plug in a switch, a foot switch, and trigger it that way as well. It's nice if your hands are occupied. It gives you that functionality as well on the back of the instrument. So that's our virtual drawbar situation. But just going through, again, the Vox category has some cool variations. And I had a quest on the questions when you guys asked me on Instagram, but so that's fun. And that sound, again, that's the VOX category is going to give you sounds that are from the original VOX Continental back in the 60s. So some really great variations here, and I'll just go through some of the other ones. But you'll also hear, and it's probably hard to hear over the live stream, but if you have headphones in, the noise that comes from the original organs, the sounds that you've come to expect from these older instruments, they've all are part of the sample. So you'll hear these really cool effects that are going on in the background. And each of these presets has a different, type of background effect to really give you that authentic sound, which I think is really nice. So just to check out some of these other sounds, this is under the Vox category. That's pretty cool sound. Groovy, right? By the way, for those of you just joining us, welcome to our weekly live stream. My name is Luciano, and I'm here today with the VOX Continental. Do feel free, ask us any questions. We have Eric from our product support team is going to be answering questions in the chat. So he is great, and he will be the one to type away and answer. And I'm going to keep an eye too. So if I have any questions that I can answer, I will definitely answer them for you. So continuing, we were in the VOX category. I want to go ahead and now show you to the right some of the other functionality that we have. Now, we do have other sound categories. Now, we were just looking at the organ category. Now, as you can see right here in the middle of the instrument, we have 4 buttons: organ, electric piano, piano, and key/layer. Whatever one is lit up is the mode that you're in. So it's very easy to see on the gig, but I'm in the organ category. I can click E-piano, and it will light up this portion of the keyboard, letting me know that I'm now affecting sounds, and I'm playing sounds from the electric piano portion. And I can do the same for piano and key layer. Now, the key layer category we're going to go into last, but it has some really nice samples from our PCM sound engine. But it's going to have really, a wide variety to get you through a nice gig, and I think that it's practical, and with the 2.0 update, we'll go through some of the new sounds that came with that. But in the electric piano category, just like the organ category, we have 3 subcategories. We have tine, reed, and FM. Going to give you different variations of those electric piano sounds. So to start with, let's go to sound number 1, variation 1. You can see I use my variation knobs to adjust that. And we'll check out the tine category. Very nice sound there. Going through some of the other ones to check them out. So pretty nice. And again, that borrows from our EP1 engine. So for those of you familiar with some of our other products, but it does give you that power all in this really nice small package, which is really, really nice. So just cycling through some other ones in the tine category. Let's hear what we have. So that's pretty nice. It's giving you that nice panned. Let's see. So really nice sound there. Now, just a little thing that you want to note is you have the ability to adjust the level of each of these categories, which is very practical when you start layering sounds, okay? So, for example, you can see right now in my E-piano category, I have my volume level all the way up, but as I start rolling it back, you can see that light lets you know exactly where your volume level is. I can go ahead and very easily turn that into a nice layer like I did in the entrance piece that I played. I layered it with a traditional acoustic piano sound. And all you have to do is basically press the 2 buttons of the sound categories that you want to layer. So in my piano category, I have a nice grand piano here. So all I have to do is press them together. That was the sound that I used in the beginning. So very, very easy to do that. I'll go ahead and turn off my piano layer just temporarily. So we'll just go back to electric piano. And let's check out some of the other categories that we have within electric piano. So we'll check out reed. So there we go. See. It's in the reed category. We'll continue to listen to some other ones. This will be a good time actually to start talking about how do we build a sound and how do we make adjustments to sound in a Continental. And I think that's probably what gets me most excited about this keyboard is that it's all right here. So you don't really have to menu dive. You don't have to look for modifications. So I could just turn my attention. If I like that electric piano as a bass, I'll start looking now in my effects category. And as you can see up top, we have effects. I have chorus, phaser, flanger, a compressor, drive, and the wah effect. So I can toggle through those by pressing this button. So it lets me know which one I am currently in. So let's see what happens if we go to the wah effect. All I have to do to turn it on is just press effect. And I can adjust the intensity by rolling this effects knob to the right. And if I go through some of the other ones, we can hear what they do, but let's see compression. So that's cool, getting that grid in there. Coming down, I have reverb, I have delay, and I have EQ, which we'll talk about how to adjust that with my multi-band EQ using this nice touch control over here. But if I go ahead and dial on my reverb, I can use the knob again to raise or lower it, and I have it on here. A lot of reverb there. And my delay. Again, adjusting intensity with a knob. It's so quick. Right there also for you to adjust when you're working with delay is a tap tempo button where I can set the speed of the delay. So again, very practical, and where this keyboard shines is in the category that it's meant to shine as a stage keyboard, a stage piano. So the fact that you can make these quick adjustments is very important. So for those of you joining us, by the way, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this stream. It's nice to have always a full group. Feel free to ask your questions in the chat. We have Eric from Korg. He is answering questions, all right? So continuing, we have this nice sound. I kind of dig it. Coming to the left, though, we can go ahead and now use that valve drive, right on the way out to see if we get some nice warmth and maybe a little bit of that grit. See what happens. Someone said, play just the two of us. All right, I'll play that right after this. Let me just finish with this sound, and then we'll play a little bit of that, just the two of us. Yes, electric pianos. The first song that comes to mind when I think electric piano is just the two of us. So I agree. So here's the drive now as we dial it up. So this is with it off. I mean, it's really just rich. It sounds awesome. And just messing with some knobs, right? Again, it's anyone can create when they come to this keyboard. And that's kind of what makes it fun. I had that request for just the two of us. So let me come back to my electric piano category. We'll turn it off. Let's see what we got. That sound, but again, really rich. That particular one, if you have a Continental, is the 5th variation under the time category in the electric piano category. That sounds really nice. So we got electric piano covered. Now, piano category. Like I said, it has the SGX2 engine, so you get that really powerful, for acoustic pianos, which I play mostly acoustic piano when I'm out on gigs, so it's nice to have that. And one thing that makes it really playable, though, on this key bed is the dynamics button. Now, that is a very important part of this instrument that is practical, and it's right here on the left. And if I turn it on, just like the new Nautilus has a dynamics button, the Grand Stage has a dynamics button, but it's really nice because, when you're playing with these, this waterfall organ-style key bed, as a player who plays, acoustic pianos regularly, sometimes I tend to, play really heavily when I move to a synthesizer action. So rolling it back is nice, but we'll play some piano for you here so you can hear. and you can hear the sustain. I think that's what always makes a really good piano sample shine, is when you can, sustain a note and you hear that beautiful resonance. It does it really well. That's thanks to that SGX2 engine in there. But also, I don't know if you can hear this over live, but all those damper sounds, so when you hit the sustain pedal, it's all in there. It's all in the sampling. So it's very high quality samples that you get access to with the Continental, which is really, really nice. So going through some of the other grand categories. You have 3 categories as well in the piano category. You have grand, upright, and E grand. So the uprights are really nice too, but so, I mean, really nice. And with upright piano specifically, where you really hear that distinct upright sound is in the bass. So if I wanted to get access to the lower notes, a really convenient octave button is here on the panel as well. So again, on the gig, quick to access. But here we go. We'll drop in an octave. So I see a question there regarding the action. This is not a weighted action. It has the LS action, so it's like organ keys. So it's going to give you that lighter weight feel. So it's really nice when you're playing organ, but it's also very sensitive, as you can hear when I'm playing real piano, a regular acoustic piano sound, I should say. It feels really, really nice. So it's a versatile action, and I think part of what makes it so versatile for me is the addition of that dynamics button too, because when I'm playing a piano sound, I want to have that ability to be really sensitive and kind of dig in more, and that button allows me to do it. So when you think about a stage instrument, you want to have that, on the fly ability to modify. And one thing that's cool, I should note, about the dynamics button is it's a global type setting. So when I set it, it's going to stay. So I can set it and leave it, and as I'm changing different sounds, my dynamics preset is going to stay the same, which is really nice. Cool. So that's the upright category, and we have our E grand category as well. Let's see what we can do. I feel like a power ballad. I want to play something. That's pretty cool. And the final category is going to be that key/layer category. Now, this is where you're going to have lots of variety. And with the 2.0 update, which we're going to start talking about, you're going to hear me say that a lot, because if you have the Continental, you really want to make sure that you do this update. It's a free update that you can download right from our website. And it gives you access to a lot of new features and a lot of new sounds that are right in, some of them in this key layer category. But in this category, you'll see we have synth, lead, strings, brass, and some of those really nice clav sounds that you heard me use at the beginning. And just to show you some first in the key category, we'll switch here. So now we're in the key category. As you can see, to switch between different sound modes, all I have to do is click this button. So now I'm in the key layer category. That's the sound I use at the beginning. We'll turn off valve drive. Just going through some other ones as well. That's a nice harpsichord. Let's hear some other ones. And I have a pipe organ, which is pretty cool. Let's see. hear if we have a variation coming up. That low end is really nice in that sound, but that's just in the key category. So continuing, I mean, brass, you know. Let's hear. Some of those have cool swells on them. Strings. Now, once you install the 2.0 update, you're going to notice that there are actually a lot more variations in these categories, and there are actually 58 sounds that were added with the 2.0 update on the Continental. So really took the instrument to a whole nother level when it comes to just sound. Another feature that was added in this 2.0 update that I keep speaking about is split functionality. So when you think about a stage piano, an important feature that you really want to have is maybe you need left-hand bass. The bass player didn't show up to the gig, whatever it may be, but you can split the keyboard, which is nice. The layer functionality comes over also from the original keyboard had that capability as well, but with the 2.0 update, you can also do the layering as well. Now, just continuing through some of these new sounds, I want to show you some more, but a lot of different variety in the string or PCM. Really nice sound. Now let's see what happens if we add let's add some reverb in here. So that's really a beautiful sound there. And you can see just with the addition of some reverb, I get a lot of ambience there. And now let's say I maybe want to add a piano in there, layer it in. So all I have to do is press these two buttons together, piano and key layer. And there you go. Now you can hear my piano's kind of low in the mix. But it's as simple as moving these volume adjustment layers, or levers I should say, for each of the parts of the sound. So if I want to have more piano but less of the string sound, it's as simple as turning those knobs. And here we go. Let's put our grand piano there. Go to grand piano 1. I want to adjust it on the fly. All I got to do is come in here. We'll drop the string some more. It's just a blast to play. I really enjoy playing the keyboard, but I think it's just fun to mess with on the spot when you just start shaping the sound and have all these knobs. It's a fun thing to do. So if you're just joining us, by the way, welcome to our stream. Again, my name is Luciano with Korg, and we're here today with the VOX Continental. So feel free, type your questions. We have Eric, and I saw James as well. James Sajiva from Korg is in the chat as well, which is great. and we'll do our best to answer your question. All right. So continuing, you heard me mess with some layers. I'll go back and just turn the key layer category on, and we'll hear some of the other sounds. At the beginning, I did play a nice lead sound, and that was that deep soul lead. But I can go to the lead category here and cycle through some of these variations, and let's give a listen to some of them. Turn on some of the drive. It's a pretty cool sound. Now, when you start getting into lead sounds, you talk about, adjusting them. Maybe I want to adjust the attack, the decay, right? Things like that. Maybe I want to add some tremolo. You can do that on the Continental, and you could use this really awesome touch control section here to do it. Now, right over here is a button that will allow you to choose what these control surfaces will do. So right now I'm still on the organ selection. So I'm going to have the drawbar control. But if I tap it again, I can see that it says key/layer, which means that I'm now controlling sounds from the key/layer category, which we're now listening to, which is with that, that deep soul lead kind of sound. So let's hear what we can get. But again, all I have to do is start just touching these control knobs, and it's really fun. They're really sensitive. But let's start with attack. So that's rolling the attack, so taking a while to swell into the note, or if I want it really short. That's cool. And we got our decay. You're just shaping the sound there. Release. Pretty cool. Cut off. So that's pretty cool. Again, there's that customizability, and I think a lot of people, when they look at the instrument, they see these drawbars for the organ, but it gives you extra functionality to use these really nice controls, and it's fun when you're playing a synth lead sound. I also have other assignable ones, but depending on the sound you're using. That's cool. I feel like we can get something out of that, but it's a pretty cool sound. So again, we're just coming from that original typical lead sound, and are able to kind of customize it, which is fun. Let's hear some other sounds. So add some reverb and some delay. Not that much reverb. So you can have some fun with this keyboard, and again, variety. And you're going to notice more of the variety with that 2.0 update. So again, more options to choose from in many of the sound categories, with 58, I should say, new versatile sounds. So it's pretty cool. And we do have two other categories as well, the synth, and which is going to give you and the other category, which has some new additions, but some really nice bass sounds. This is the bass sound I used at the beginning for our demo. Let's see. That's pretty cool. Nice like slap bass effect there. And again, you can see a lot of different. That nice organ bass. And let's see. Some special effects as well. So a lot of variety in these categories, which is great. Now, I did show you some bass sounds, and one of the new features in the 2.0 update is split functionality. So let me show you how to do it because it's really easy. So let's find first a bass sound we like. That's a nice bass sound. Let's find maybe a nice. That's a nice acoustic bass, all right? So first thing you want to do is you want to pull up the sound that you want to have in the upper portion of the keyboard. So maybe we'll go with a piano sound. The next thing you want to do is you're going to press the split button right here in the organ category. It says split, and you're going to press the layer that you want to split it with. So we're going to go to this key layer category. And now you can see the split button starts flashing, letting me know I'm in split mode. And now I basically have my two layers that will be split by default, I believe, right at the C4 point. Now we can change that, but let's give it a listen first. So I noticed I was getting a little muddy here because I was playing some of the bass notes by accident. It's as simple as pressing and holding the split button and choosing where you want to split the keyboard. So maybe we'll do F sharp. I notice my keyboard level is a little bit hot for me, so I'm going to drop it just a tad. So I'll just go to my keyboard or my piano section and lower the volume. So pretty fun. Somebody asked on our question section, I didn't get to answer it, but can you play jazz on the Continental? Definitely, you can play jazz, and it's really fun to play jazz on the Continental. To exit split mode, again, I could press any other button, and it will, take me out of that mode and get back to my single layer. So we've been modifying a lot of sounds with the Continental, and how do we save these and how do we access them on a gig? Because you're obviously not going to be, customizing the sound all the time. You want to just call up something that you made. And that's where I want to close out today and show you how to lock in some of those changes. Now, this is also an area that was improved in the 2.0 update. And that is going to be this scene section over here. Now, let's turn our attention to this part of the keyboard, and you'll see that we have a bank button. So arrows that go up and down. We have A, B, C, and D, and we have 4 scene buttons. Now, on the first software release of the Continental, there was up to 16 different scenes that you can, presets that you can have saved. Now, with the 2.0 update, we have upped that now to have 64. So you have 4 different scene sets, which gives you lots of versatility. Maybe you play with one group, you want to have a certain preset, and then you go to another band, and you have a totally different type of playing that you need to accomplish. Well, you can do that very easily. So first comes first, if you're navigating through the scenes, all you have to do is go through the different bank selections. So I'm in bank B, C, D, and I can click whichever one I want to access. So for today's demonstration, I know that, I had my clav sound was on 2. And I know I had, what did I have on? I forgot what I had on 3. No, I had a bass split, which I was able to lock in and save in my third scene under bank A. So first comes first, how do you save one of these? So let's go to bank B, because I haven't written anything yet that I need in bank B. And let's get a sound that we like. So we'll select bank B, and let's go to the key layer category, and we'll go to maybe that lead sound. And we'll add some cool effects like we did last time. So let's see. That's pretty cool. We'll get some more reverb. That's the sound. I think we kind of created something similar to that just before. But if I like that sound, all I have to do, I know I'm in bank B, is click the right button, which is right here. And once I click right, it's letting me know that I can write it to any one of these 4 buttons or 4 places to store them. I'm in bank B. And you'll see here, this is a 2.0 update point, but it says S2. That's letting me know that I'm in scene set number 2. Now, I happen to be in scene set number 2 because I wanted to keep scene set number 1 as is. So this is where I have access to 16 different places I can store in scene set 2. I have 16 more in scene set 3 and 16 more in scene set 4. So let's say I want to write this now to, in scene set 2, B1. All I do is click 1. It's letting me know, hey, do you want to write it? And I tap it one more time. And it's locked in. So now in bank B, I have that sound, and if I change it, go back. So it's very easy to do that. Now, one thing when I started messing around with this keyboard, I wanted to know how did I change between the different scene sets. That's also very easy. All you have to do is long press one of these buttons. So like I said, I'm in scene set number 2 now. If I want to go to scene set number 1, press and hold 1. And you'll see S1 lights up. It'll flash for a second, letting me know that I'm entering a different scene set mode. And then it's back in. So now I'm in scene set 1. And go back to 2. Just press and hold scene number 2. And it's back in scene set 2. So very simple to get around and convenient to have these buttons. I mean, you want to be able to call stuff up very quickly, and that's exactly what it does. Now, what does it save? It's going to save everything that's happening between these categories of sound. So one thing that's pretty useful is like with that particular sound that we just wrote, right? It's going to remember that I'm starting in the key layer category, but I can also set different parts of the sound. So maybe at a certain point I want to add in some piano. Well, it's going to remember exactly which piano variation I have, and I can go ahead and turn that on throughout the performance. So when you save a scene set, it's going to save all of this that's happening here, which is going to make it easy to kind of shift during a live performance, which is really, really nice. And that is, I see someone said, new sauce. Yes, that is the new special sauce from the 2.0 update of the VOX Continental. So definitely some great, great features. Just closing out, some of the other things that have been added to this instrument to make it a complete solution for a stage piano. When you're in the piano category now, previously this lever here, this pitch lever, was ineffective, but turn off some of that reverb and delay. So when you flick this up, it'll give you the brighter characteristic of the piano sound, and when you flick it down, so this now is going to give you that flexibility to choose how you want to shape the piano sound. Maybe I want the lid closed or I want the lid open. That's going to be right here with this knob as well. That's a 2.0 update part. So if I can't stress it enough, definitely get the update because it's awesome. And with the upright pianos, it's very pronounced as well. But so you can hear it. That's lid closed, lid open. So it's a big difference in the sound. And with the electric pianos as well, you'll hear it adds the tremolo effect. Listen. No tremolo. And now flicking the knob. So very, very, very practical. And as you can see, I enjoy playing this instrument. So with that said, it's been really great doing a live stream. And actually, I was just thinking that this is the last live stream I'll be doing for this year. So thank you for welcoming me to the Korg team. I'm very excited to be here and making content for all of you. As usual, we love your feedback and your ideas and questions. If we can't answer them, we'll get you an answer. But I wanted to play us off, and we'll use the piano sound and to get something for a holiday from a Charlie Brown, if you guys know that. But we'll use the dynamics button as well, because I know I'm going to play loud, so let's try and scale back my velocity a little bit and keep me reined in. And all right, so let's call it up. We'll go to piano. Variation 1, we'll go to ground. And maybe a little reverb would be nice, right? Cool. We don't need valve drive, but a little compression there to kind of bump it up a little bit. All right, so I think we're ready to go. But I hope you enjoy. This is going to be a selection. See if you know the name of the tune. Write in the comments, but from Charlie Brown. So I hope you enjoy.